Sending two down and one back. Wanted to thank all of you for being here. Obviously, this is, crazily enough, the end of my 9th year doing this, and I'm just excited to have a new home for this event here, the West Coast Classic. And right here at Famoso Drag Strip, these guys just endlessly prove to me how grateful we should be to have this facility to be able to bracket race on such a premier surface with people that really do, pardon my French, just give a shit about their job. So I think we all owe them a round of applause and a thank you for the hard work they do out here in the heat. A year ago they did it in the cold, and yet the scoreboards still look nasty every round, and I commend Jim and all his crew here in the starting line. Cleet, Mark, Blake, my favorite if he's listening, everybody in the tower. So, we got pro round 2 in the lanes. There's something I wanted to do special today for a special racer from up north. I met this gentleman in 2015 at our very first West Coast Classic at Fontana. And the introduction was indirectly made prior to meeting him with a handshake through another great family with Nick Paravaleris. Nick had called me and said, "Hey Chris, could you do me a favor? My good friend Jeff is coming down to race your race with us. He's going to get there before me, and I usually help him unhook the truck from the trailer, and he's got a hotel room, so he needs to be able to get unhooked." And I said, "Not a problem." And I believe Jeff was either 3rd or 4th in line right there at the very first event we had. And I knew it was him because he was already smiling. And if you know the Paravaleris family, you know anybody that they're good friends with is always smiling also. So I went up to Jeff and I introduced myself, and he took my hand on both sides of his, and he said, "Just appreciate you doing this, and would just looking forward to the opportunity to be able to be here," not knowing that he'd be standing here with me 9 years later. I hope he believed it then, but who knows. And as the years went on, as the events went on, I think you only missed one event, right? I think he's only missed one of my events. And that was just bad timing in life at that point, and that happens to all of us. But he's been to every one of them. And in 2017, at my first race in Tucson at the Southwest Showdown, Jeff got into the warm-up race in Super Pro. And my good friend, and most everybody's here, Kyle Seipel, was there also. And it was a special weekend all the way around for Kyle as he doubled up Sunday, but also for Jeff because Jeff took his first big check home that night with the warm-up race. And this conversation already indirectly happened with me and Jeff this week. We were kind of reminiscing on things because I know that this is going to be his last race as a driver. It's time to move to the next chapter. And I'm just very grateful that he didn't let the divisional be the last one, and he decided to carry through and come out to be here with us this weekend. So a little bit more about Jeff. Jeff's always been one of those people that me as a promoter, let alone as a person, I feel privileged to know somebody like Jeff Brard. And a lot of you may see it sometimes. There's times when I'm upset. There's times you can hear me yelling, so you know I'm upset, or trying to get something accomplished. We get behind, and I hope we do a good job camouflaging a lot of the things that we have to do behind the scenes to make these things happen. And I'm fortunate to have a very good crew to help me do so. But sometimes it takes that one person that doesn't even know what they're doing for you to help you get that extra push through the day. And I'll be damned if Jeff Brard hasn't always been that guy. And anytime I've needed a high five or a smile or a guy saying, "Man, I just lit another wind light up, man, this is bitching," Jeff's been that guy, and the timing has always been impeccable. And there's no better way I could explain it or make sure he understands it than making sure he got that trophy. Now, he's still got a chance to get another one if he chooses, but I wanted to make sure he got a trophy from us to where he understood that he was always the reliable smile and a loyal competitor to this event and to both our events. And I just greatly want to thank him from the bottom of my heart. You want to say some words?
Yeah, just real quick. Thanks, Chris. That's awesome. I'm actually not supposed to be here 9 years later. I have lived way beyond my expiration date. I was supposed to be with the Lord years ago, and one of the things that's really helped me get through it is drag racing. Usually people lose complete use of their bodies and definitely their hands. And lately, my reaction times, you can tell I'm losing my hands use. Didn't end on a high note today, unfortunately. But, I just wanted to thank Chris. I wanted to thank Kyle. Most of all, I wanted to thank the Paravallaris family. I wouldn't have made it a day without them. They've been awesome from the get-go. Nick, 5 minutes after I met him, literally he was offered to drive 500 miles away to get a truck that I was looking at. And I'm seriously, 5 minutes after I met him, he's just that kind of guy. So I miss Alan greatly. And thank you, Marco and Lela, for also being such an awesome part of that family. And thank you, my whole drag racing family. I'll still be around. I just won't be racing. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, man.
Hey, we love you here.
Chris,
You're always
that's so
welcome back.
awesome, man.
I had to get something for
That's great.
Okay, and on one other note, I want to make sure that everybody else realizes something else. We always take a lot of pride in the sponsors that help us put these events together, the marketing sponsors. The partners I've had on these banners, on the flyer, they've been with me from day one. Mark Kidd, Race Kid, Kid Performance, Hughes Performance, K&Ed, Mazier Enterprises. I saw Dave Mazier here. That was awesome to see. I haven't seen him in a little while. It's good to have their support here. And more directly, for the moment at least, Silver State Commercial Refrigeration. I'm sure some of you are aware, you should be aware, Shane pulls in a 300-foot-long rig every weekend. We have one of these things with 17 cars in them. He opens up that trailer to just about anybody that needs a set of wheels. And he's been a huge supporter of this from day one, and he's never questioned anything I've wanted to do or what it was going to take to get there. He was unable to be here this weekend because his business partner, Brighton, who's also a huge supporter of what we do, it's just we see Shane because this is Shane's passion. Brian carries that passion and shares it with Shane, but he's not into this side of it. But Brian had a stroke a couple weeks ago, and Shane had to stay home in order to maintain business and take care of things that are much more important than being here. So if you get a chance, reach out to Shane. If you see him somewhere down the road, I'm not asking you to do something that's out of character, but please understand and appreciate what these people do to help me get here, which is what I do to try to help give you a product to want to be here. So Silver State Commercial Refrigeration, I think we all owe them a round of applause too, whether or not they're watching. So with, I guess, that being said, I've talked enough. You guys ready to go?
Well, hang on. Just hang on.
All right, I'm going to turn it back over to the so-called professionals. Best of luck to everybody the rest of the day.
So-called professionals was a stretch, by the way. If you would, please stand and remove your hats for our invocation from Racers for Christ chaplain Matt Miller. Matt?
Thank you, Mike. Let's pray. Lord, I just want to thank you so much for keeping us safe up to this point. You blessed us with a great day of racing yesterday with no issues whatsoever, and I just praise you, Lord, for that. And I pray, Lord, that you give us another great day of racing, Lord. These guys do such a fantastic job of super close racing in an 8th mile. It's just impressive to see. And I pray your blessing on them. Protect them as they go down that track. Protect all of our track personnel as they watch over them out on that track. Please keep them safe and give them skill and wisdom. Be wonderful if they don't have to use that skill today. And bless us with a great day of racing. And we will give you all the glory for it. Pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
If you haven't already stood, please do so and remove your hats for our national anthem. Thank you very much, and back to Jay Kasem, continuing the racing.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. Wow. What an absolute gorgeous day to do a little racing. This is the part where the money racers like it best, and that is 2 cars go down the track and only 1 car's coming back. Well, hopefully everybody goes back to their trailer and gets a chance to relax. Anyway, eventually one person's going to get an opportunity to move their way into the Kid Performance Winner's Circle. $10,000 is at the stake. Every time you stage her up, think about that, Super Pro. Hey, Pro, $5,000. Not a bad day's work. I mean, think about it here. You know, you're could be somewhere just kind of, listening to the boss give you the yakety yak. Instead, you could be letting go of that button or letting go of that foot brake and taking off for the other end, sliding in there just in time to put that little white light on down on the guardrail and call it a day. That's right. I only need to do that about 6, 7 more times, and somebody's going to get that cash. So again, listen up, guys. You should be in the lanes and be ready to go, because this one's going to be the tough one. Each lane, each round, going to be somebody, park it, enjoy it. Somebody else is going to say, yeah, I'll win that round. That's right. Like I said, money racers like it now, because nothing's worse than cutting somebody first round, and then there they are 3, 4 rounds later. I got to cut them again. So, but that is bracket racing as we know it these days, and actually got to love it because we got a beautiful crowd. One reason is because you get more than one shot. Back in a long time ago, you come back to a money race, drive all the way up to Boise, Idaho or someplace, run the round, doesn't go your way, pack it all back up and drive it all the way back home. So here you go, 3 days of great racing coming your way. All right, guys, make your way towards the cars. If you are still in, you need to be in. It's time to go. All right, here we go. Round 2 Pro coming your way. Man, one of the best packages we've seen today got cut up in Pro. About a 5 or 6 thou pack, if I remember correctly. I bet that gets beat before the end of the night. And it could be just as easy as this next pair. Okay, here we go. First pair, second round of Pro coming your way. Randy Snyder driving the 1973 Vega GT alongside DJ Humard. DJ driving the 66 Nova wagon. 643 the dial in for the wagon. A little Vega GT 660. got an orange car from Orangevale. Oh, baby. First one's covered with a red light. DJ Humard gets the automatic win. 02 green, runs a 42 with a 9 on a 43, misses dialing by just a thousandth. 63 with a 1 on a 60. Randy Snyder started that out with an 017 on the red side. Richard Lilo, that's the 64 Ranchero. Another of the very cool Fords that's out here cruising around today. 718 the dial-in. '76er, there's a bunch of them out here today. 76 Chevy Nova. Oh, baby, red light. Looks like Richard's going to get the automatic win there as he goes 02 to the green side. Runs a 718 with a 6 on a 718. Started that out with an 020 light. Michelob Ultra Lane, 610 on a 610, but unfortunately you put it up red, and that's the end of that. Pedro Valadez, he's driving the Firebird Formula. Good-looking machine over in the three-way Chevrolet side. Zach Ealing, the 65 El Camino. 540 inches. That's a lot of big Chevy right there. Pedro's running LS power. Taking her time staging them up. Pedro red. Zach green. That's pretty much what you need to know there. Pedro runs it out, runs 702 on a 702. 655 with an 8 on a 657 for Zach. Starts that out with an 04 light, but it's good for the win based on the red light over in the other lane. Greg Dreher, the 85 Camaro. The white car with the big scoop. Logan Piano. $794 for Logan, alongside Greg Dreher's 646. Red light for Logan. Greg Dreher, 024 for a green light. That'll be a winner. Runs it out, goes 643 with a 4 on a 646. 794 with a 2 on a 794. I mean, this is really holding true. Just about everybody who's gone red has run dead on the other end. Randy Stanley, the 75 Nova, alongside the 72 Duster. Mark Beaven making a trip over from Queen Creek, Arizona. On this end, light's pretty close. Get down the other end. Tappy on the brake pedal. 692 on a 690 is good for the win. Randy Stanley took 2 off the tree, and that's what it took to win. 669 was the dial in for Mark Beaven. He goes a 672 with a 4 at a little over 100 miles an hour. So Randy moves on. Scott Taylor, the 65 Chevelle, lining up in the Michelob Ultra Lane. Got Brian Cam, the 84 Camaro. 796 to dial in for the Camaro. 667 for the Chevelle. Chevelle banging away on that two-step, running for the other end. Gonna get tight at the other end. Nope, can't get there. 049 light for Brian Cam. He runs us 802 on a 796. Scott Taylor, actually he did get there, but unfortunately runs under as he runs a 66 with a 7 on a 67. Jeff Taylor, the 99 Dakota, 577, the dial-in for the pickup truck. And Tony Marconi. Tony Marconi out there with the drop top 76 Arrow, 588 the dial-in. So both these cars pretty evenly matched. leaving the line. Everybody leaves a green light behind him. Gets to the other end. The win light comes up for Tony Marconi. Tony took 3 off the tree, then runs a 91 on an 88. That's with an 037 light. Takes the win. Jeff Taylor runs a 79 with an 8 on a 77 at 117 miles an hour. And Tony Marconi moves on. Amber Rutherford out of Wembley, Alberta. That is a long trip. I bet they're getting snowed on up there already. I just bet they are. It is in Canada. I've flown over it once. 6.00. Oh, man, CW puts it up red by 0.02 of a second. 6 flat for Amber. She goes 6.01 with a 2 at 114 miles an hour. CW goes under by a few thou, so goes under the tree by 2 thou and goes under his dial-in by about 6 thou. Next pair coming your way. We got kind of Hofer's a pair here. Sasha just watched CW. Got your hands full here. Here's Ron Nickel. Ron Nickel driving that 64 Oldsmobile 442. I believe he probably went to the showroom and bought that thing brand new in 64. Just teasing, Ron. I know that you would have been like 15 when that happened. 709 to dial in for Ron Nichols, 733 for Sasha. Man, everybody taking their time putting them in there. Ron Nickel, nicknamed the Hammer. I don't think there's anybody here that doesn't know why. About to find out. He's out in front. Never saw the front end dip. Wind light comes up on his side. He runs a 712 with an 8 on a 709. Sasha, 738 on a 733. Ron had a slightly better light, the 053 light, and he moves on to the next round. Hey, and to bring you the rest of the action, here's Mike.
Thank you, Jay. Is Josh DeSouza, the junior comp dragster at 690, getting a head start over Alan Valvo. And Alan is 004 RED, and the red light's on, and Alan's gone. Josh goes 82 on the tree in the dragster and 692.0 on that 690 dial. And automatic W is Monty Beagle, Tim O'More. 596, Tim O'More, the Camaro. 582, Monty Beagle, the coupe out of Canada. Itty bitty little head start going to that Camaro. That three-way Chevrolet lane. Clean green this pair. Tim O'More with that head start trying to hang on. Wow. Monty Beagle, 586.9 on that 82 dial for the win, 066. Tim O'More gave it back. Tim was 12 on the tree and goes 607 at only 98 miles an hour. And by 7 thou, Monty Beagle moving to the next round. Cal Gordon, Jay Griner, Jay Farside getting the head start in the Pontiac Ventura 680. Cal Gordon chasing that Mustang. CP Auto Works Mustang 618. Cal Gordon. Green light starts again. Jay Griner with a head start down there, top end. It's going to be Jay Griner. 81 with a 7 on that 80 dial for the win, 037. Cal missing the tree, goes 609 on a 618 dialing and got there first, broke out by a bunch. Michael Cortez, Cliff Hall. The dart for Michael Cortez, 653, getting the head start. Cliff Hall for the Hall brothers, 602 for the Maverick. Cliff Hall making up that handicap start, drops the nose of that Mustang. 0-14 on the tree. Cliff Hall, 6:15.9 on that 6:02 dialing for the win. Cortez missing the tree and 65 on that 53 and doesn't get there is Jonathan Knoll, Mike Agnew. The Chevelle, the King's Ransom Chevelle, Mike Agnew, 6:10, chasing the Stick Shift Challenger at 6:95. Red light start, Jonathan, the Challenger. Mike Agnew, 28 on the tree. 6:11.0, 112 on the 6:10 dialing for the automatic win. And Jonathan, red lighting his chances away as Rob Strong for Horsepower Garage and Kelly Fenley. Kelly, the Toyota pickup truck, 6:58, chasing Rob Strong's Firebird, 6:82 for the Brard, for the Bird in the three-way Chevrolet lane. Couple of green light starts there. Rob Strong, one of the better guys. That finish line makes it work. Yes, he does. Rob Strong, 0-15. Dialed 682, goes 84 with an 8 for the win. Kelly was 41 on the tree. It goes out 61 with a 1 on that 58 dial. Is Chris Johnson, Rick Fenley. Rick Fenley, the very cool Bel Air, 649, getting the head start over that Duster in from Lancaster and Western Edge Auto Center. 6 flat, Chris Johnson. Big Impala trying to hold off that Duster. It's Duster, 6:03.1 on that 6 flat dial. Was 54 on the tree. Fenley missed it in the Bel Air. Goes dead on 8. Bows out. Jeff Dye, Kevin McClellan, K-Mac, the El Camino at 7:73. Getting the head start over Jeff Dye's Nova, 6:71, Jeff Dye. Kevin McClellan, the red light start. Jeff Dye moving on in that Nova. Dialed 671. Jeff Dye goes 6.759, 101. Chase Trimp, Alan Brown. The Opal for Chase Trimp, 656, getting the head start over Alan Brown, 584 AB in the coupe. Opal getting that head start, lights up, second light, now the tree comes down. Green light starts. Chase with the head start, the Opal. Here comes Alan Brown, that big block coupe. Chase out by 14 thou, 026 for the win. Allen out by 2 hun, 054 for the loss. Ladies, let's get together. Shelby Williams for Foggett. The Camaro, 625, getting the head start over Paige Smith for Mountain View Performance, 610 Paige Smith, three-way Chevrolet lane. Both of them leave wheels up launch. 8 thou difference in reaction time down there at that finish line is going to be Shelby Williams. 059, 627.7 for the win. Page gave it a shot at 051, but there was a 4 over 614.7 on that 610 dial-in and could not catch that Shelby Williams as Stan Montgomery, Tim Arnswald. Sunday Tim, 731 in the Camaro, and Stan Montgomery, the Nova, $5.99, Stan Montgomery out of Atascadero. Head start Sunday Tim. Stan Montgomery trying to make that move and come on down at the top end. Sunday Tim, 732 on that 731 dial, 051 on the tree for the win. Stan Montgomery was 008, then bows out at a 6073 on that 599 dial in. Next pair coming around the corner. Couple of blue ovals. Be the Mustang three-way Chevrolet lane. Jeremy Everest, 723, chasing Rick Barnhouse. The 56 Ford, 754 for Rick Barnhouse. O11 RED, Rick Barnhouse. Jeremy Everest, 038 down 723. Picks up the win at 7209 on that 723 dial automatic W. Leslie Emery, Ed DeCat. Ed in from Lake Havasu, the Cavalier, 544. And Leslie Emery, the Affordable Transmissions S10 pickup truck, getting the head start in the Michelob Ultra Lane at 701. Here comes that Cavalier down there, top end. That wind light says Cavalier. 005 green, 547.8 on that 44 dial in for the win. Leslie, 7074 on that 701 dial in and left 5 on the starting line. C.W. Hofer. C-Dub at 735, chasing Logan Pagano's Corvette at 795, three-way Chevrolet lane. Attention the pits, attention the pits. Super Pro door car. Double entries, 1 and 2, single entries, 3 and 4. Clean green. As advertised, just a couple of good boys. And down there, top end, it's going to be C-Dub. Dead on 3, 016 for the win. Takes out Logan's 023 and then park it at 8037 on that 795 dial-in. Again, Super Pro door car. Double entries, lanes 1 and 2. Single entries, lanes 3 and 4. Shelby. Head start, Henry. Very good at that finish line. Down there, top end, Henry drops that nose. 057, 703 on that 701 dial-in for the win. Shelby had one of them reaction times that was a little bit tardier than that and broke out by 16 thou in a 3-striker. Late, got their second, broke out Darren Taylor, Randy Lee Stanley. The Phantom Realty, Gary's Automotive Nova for Randy Lee at 691. So Stanley left, 691. Darren Taylor, another Idaho runner at 610. How'd you guys pair up in the lanes there? You weren't supposed to do that. And Randy Lee's got problems. Randy Stanley's got problems. I'm sorry. My apologies. Darren's going to go on a single run, and Randy Stanley getting pushed off. And, like, man. Darren Taylor on the bye run. 6:16.9. 112 on that 610 dial-in. 029 on the tree. Scott Taylor, Montana, the Taylor Automotive 65 Chevelle, getting a head start in the Michelob Ultra Lane at 665. Danny Valvo, driving Allen Chevelle, 612. Denny, three-way Chevrolet lane. Head start to the 65. Here comes that 72 down there, top end. Scott Taylor, 671-1 on that 665 dial-in, 052 for the win. Denny goes to 4 over 616 with a 3, but had a reaction time that started with a 1. It's Sasha Hofer, Jeff Taylor. 577, Jeff Taylor in the Dakota pickup truck out of Oregon, chasing Sasha Hofer. Silver Platter Racing Firebird, 732, Sasha. Red light start, Jeff Taylor, automatic win going to Sasha Hofer. Sasha, 002 reaction time, goes 7:31.7 on that 7:32 dial for the automatic W. Is DJ Homard, Pedro Valadez. Pedro, 7:02 in the Bird. DJ, the Duschel Racing Nova Wagon, 6:43, DJ Homard. Careful of the stage. There we go. Now we're set. Head start going to Pedro. DJ doing the station. Chasing down there. Clean green and 4 thou difference between that two. Down there, Pedro. Dead on 0. 041 for the win. DJ, a 1 over 44 with a 5. It was better at 037, but could not get there. Jim Holtz with a bye running the Datsun. It's not stock. $30 on the tree, dialed 737 with the Datsun. 742, 4, 90 miles an hour. Super Pro door cars, need you in the lanes, please. Super Pro door cars, need you in the lanes. Double entries, lanes 1 and 2. Single entries, lanes 3 and 4. AJ Cameron, El Camino 663, getting the head start over Jason Pad's Love Truck at 597. Oh, watch this, baby, down there at that finish line. AJ was first, but doesn't make it work. Jason Pad, 009, 6031 on that 597 dialing for the win. Parking that, baby. AJ wasn't bad either, but 001 and then breaks out by 6 thou, getting there first by 7. All right, attention to pits, attention to pits. Super Pro Dragster, double entries 1 and 2, single entries 3 and 5. Oh, 5 and 6? Okay, so do this over. Chris Forsythe changes his mind. So double entries 1 and 2, single entries 5 and 6. Super Pro Dragster, need you to the lanes. Tim Wirtz, Dennis Paz. The Rhino Rush Energy Drake's Corvette at 519, chasing that wheel stand in El Camino, 676. Super Pro Dragster, double entries 1 and 2, single entries 5 and 6. Need you now. Here comes that Corvette down there, top end. Tim Wirtz, 008, 22 with the 9 on that 519 dial for the win. Dennis Paz got their second, a 3-striker. Breaking out by 8 thou is James Rutherford, Justin Short. Justin the Chevelle, 552. James Rutherford, the probe with a big Ford under the hood, 490. The dial for James and the team out of Alberta, Canada. Green light starts again. Watch that probe down there. Top end got enough to make that move. Nope. 554 on that 552 dialing. Justin Short, 006 for the win. James goes dead 7, 026. And by 2 thousandths of a second, the Chevelle is coming back. It's the next pair. Big Greg Dreer, Sean Ealing. Sean, 661 right side Corvette. Greg Dreer, Bruno Casellas Camaro, 645 doing the chasing. Attention to the pits, attention to the pits. Super Pro Dragster, double entries 1 and 2, single entries 5 and 6. Here we go. Head start to the Corvette. They are clean, they are green. Bruno left, Greg left, Sean right, and it's going to be Sean Eagling. 662-1 on that 61 dialing, 009 for the win. Greg Gier, 029, and a 1 over 646.9 on that 45. Trying to get there, but Sean moving on. Emma Duschel and DeAndre Fitzgerald. DeAndre Farside, that's the Nova. 651, DeAndre Fitzgerald. And Miss Emma for Aerospace Components, 580 for the 63 Corvette. Once again, Super Pro Dragsters, double entries, lanes 1 and 2. Super Pro Dragsters, single entries, lane 5 and 6. DJ bringing his girlfriend in right side. DeAndre over there left side just waiting on her. Head start to that Nova. Red light start, DeAndre Fitzgerald. Emma's 016 on the tree. Emma goes 584, 118 on that 580 dialing for the automatic W. As DeAndre bows out with the red light start. Andrew Olson, the FIExperts.com, Camaro, Charlie and the team, 582. Andrew. Petey Booth for Hughes Performance and Munn's Company, 571, Petey Booth. The Porsche. Woo, hang on there, Petey. That Porsche went what it's famous for, road racing. Andrew Wilson, old 22, rolls out of the throttle, goes 608 for the win. Petey Booth and that Porsche went towards that center line, crossed it over, was 30 on the tree, and then 742-2 rolling out of that throttle. So Andrew coming back in that Camaro, and like Charlie smiling. Dan McClellan, Jonathan Fiello, this pair. Nova 574, Roadster 590. So head start to that Roadster. Nova doing the chasing. Jonathan right, Daniel left. Somebody's going to continue to dance. Somebody's going to sit and watch. Green light starts in this pair. Watch that down there at the finish line. Dan McClellan, oh man, a 13 thou pack. 005, dead on 8, Dan McClellan. Jonathan Fiello out by 5 thou, 013, and thanks for coming. You go 019, and you had no chance. Brad Pierce, James Harstigan. Sir James, the Mizzier Enterprises CUDA 577, chasing that Corvette of Brad Pierce, 6-3-2. Top end, Sir James, 011, 581.9 on that 77 dial-in. Brad missed the tree, goes dead on 9, and by 9 thousandths of a second, Sir James tightens that baby up, lights up that scoreboard down there. Super Pro Dragsters, need you to the lanes, please. Super Pro Dragsters, double entries 1 and 2, single entries 5 and 6. Dave Schaefer, Brian McCullough. Camaro, 658. Mustang, 675. So Brian doing the chasing. Green light starts again. That 66 Mustang out in front. Camaro got enough to get there down to the top end. About 673.7, breaking out 032 for the win for Dave Schaefer. Byron goes 655.6, 074 on that 658 dial for the loss. Randy Cloud, 98 Mustang for L&M Transmission Service, 575. Chasing the Arrow, the drop top Arrow, 588 for Tony Marconi and El Bandito Yankee Tequila. Clean green again. Tony out there, Randy coming. Top end, Tony Marconi. Dead on 8, 012 for the win. Randy Cloud, 021 reaction time. Getting down there out by 3 thou. Tony Marconi in the Arrow, moving on. Anthony Matazza, Mike Agnew. Chevelle for Agnew, 610. Roadster for Anthony Matazza, 572, doing the chasing. Mike Agnew just skies them front wheels in that Chevelle. Down there top end, that wind light says Chevelle. Mike Agnew, 10 on the tree. 612-1 on that 610 dial for the win. Anthony Matassa, 22 on the tree. And a 3 over 575-0 on that 72 dial-in. Mike Agnew moving on in the shell is Robert Butler, Larry Pittenger, Camaros. Larry, 616 the 68 Camaro. Robert Butler, 580. In the second-gen Camaro right side. Watch that black Camaro far side. Oh, Larry, you let me down. Usually Sky them from Wales. Don't let me down there, top end. Oh, man. Dead on 0, 029, Robert Butler moving on. Pittenger was 007 and out by 12 thou. Get there by 4 hun. It was Ricky Duschel, Vince Campa. The Campa Racing Roadster. 510. Ricky Duschel. The Aerospace Mike's Transmissions Corvette. 557. Head start to that Corvette. Head start Corvette Roadster coming on big time. Corvette 5602 on the 57 dial-in for the win. Ricky left that starting line 003. Vince Campa 513.5 on that 510 line dial-in, but started off 026. Gary Manaka, Larry Giese. Dodge Daytona, Larry Giese at 576. Get the head start over Manak and the Roadster. At 534, Gary Manaka. The move off that starting line to the Roadster. Gary Manaka, 003. Dial 534 goes 5376. Larry Giese, dial 576. 013, it goes out at 583.5. PJ Giacalone, the Pizzazz Racing, 55 Chevrolet. Mike Ealing, El Camino. Mike at 664. Green light starts here. Here comes that 55 down there. Oh, PJ. 83 on an 82. 032 for the win. Mike Ealing, 012. Took 300 stripe and broke out by 5 thou backing into him. Joe Levitt, Pearson Deming. Levitt the Nova, 610. Chasing that kid performance, Nova, Pearson Deming at 655 for Pearson left side. $2,000 difference in reaction time. Win light Pearson. Dead on 3, 019 for the win. Joe Levitt goes 021 and a 1 over 611 with an 8 and could not get there. Pearson to the next round. Henry Roberson, Rob Strong. The Horsepower Garage Firebird in from Hemet. 680 Rob Strong. Robertson, the Mustang we call Stickers. 701 Henry right side. Not sure what's going on with Rob's Firebird there. Henry rolled up and pre-staged. Rick says, roll them in here, brother. By the way, Super Pro Dragster, if you're not in the lanes, you are late. Double entries, 1 and 2. Single entries, 5 and 6. Henry got both lights on, waiting on Rob Strong. Head start to the Mustang. Two very good racers here, clean and green. Difference is 3,000 reaction time. Watch that, baby, at the finish line. It's going to be Rob Strong by 6,000ths of a second. 0.31 reaction time, 681.3 on that, 80 dialing for the win. Henry was no weak dog. He was 28 on the tree. Goes out at 7.032 on that, 7.01. 6 thou to Rob Strong at the finish line. Justin Short, Mark Kidd. The Kidd Performance Nova, 588. Getting the head start over Justin Short, the 64 Chevelle, 553 for Justin. One of them was perfect. About to find out if it works. Yes, it does by 6,000ths of a second. Justin Short, 555 with a 3 on that 53 dialing. Perfect reaction time. Mark Kidd, no slouch at 13 on the tree, and then a 1 over 589 with a 6. And by 6 thou, Justin Short advances. His next pair already up here. AJ Cameron, Tim Wirtz. AJ, the El Camino, 663. Tim Wirtz for Rhino Rush Energy Drinks, 519 for the Corvette in from Idaho. .009 made that move second. It gets second by 9,000ths of a second. Tim Wirtz, 002, 520 with a 4 on that 519 dial-in. AJ Cameron, 664, 6 on that 663 dial-in. 009 off the starting line. And Tim Wirtz by 9,000 moving on. Cooper Chun and Robert Neighbor. Neighbor's Motorsports Corvette. Robert at 521. Cooper, Dave Barcelone's truck down dragster, 515. Cooper Chun, three-way Chevrolet lane. Robert Neighbor pre-staging, Cooper Chun pre-staging. Itty bitty little head start going to Robert the Corvette. Robert goes 10 red. Cooper goes 16 green. Cooper on that 5-15 dialing. Cooper goes dead on 3, 0-16. And Robert goes 10 red and a 1 over 22 with a 0 is Joey Trotsky and Daryl Wirtz. Allegiant Powder Coated Dragster, Daryl Wirtz, 459, chasing Joey Trotsky's long wheelbase Bantam Altered, 524 JT. Head start Joey. Daryl doing the chasing. Joey's 008 RED. Daryl Wirtz 30 on the tree. Daryl Wirtz dead on 7, 030 for the win. Joey red lights away a dead on 2, goes 008 red. Mark Lalonde, Kevin Johnson. Mark right side, Yancer Chassis Dragster 490, getting the head start over Kevin Johnson. 453 KJ three-way Chevrolet lane. Pre-stage, Kevin Johnson waiting on Mark to roll in and light that first light just like that. There we go. Green light starts this pair. Down there, top end, it's going to be Kevin Johnson by 5 thousandths of a second. Kevin's 56 with a 5 on that 53 dialing. 014 for the win. Mark missing a little bit. 37 on the tree, and then 91 with a 7 on that 90 dialing. And by 5 thou, Kevin's coming back is KJ Dessa and Mark Barnhart. Barnhart far side, 460, chasing KJ. The team out of North Las Vegas at 482. Green light starts again. 4 thou difference down there, top end. It's going to be Mark Barnhart by 8 thousandths of a second. Barnhart's 009, dead 7. KJ, 81, 83 with the 1 on that 82 dialing, 013 and 8 thou. Mark Barnhart moving on is Kevin Shearer, Brian Schubert. Check this out. Brian in the front motor dragster at 613. Kevin Shearer out of Washington, 458, Kevin, Michelob Ultra Lane. Head start to the front motored car. They are green light starts. Brian Schubert out front. Here comes Kevin Shearer. Brian, 1 over 6. Oh, goes dead on 1, 024. Kevin Shearer was 39. It goes a 1 over 459.0. And the front motor dragster coming back next round. It'll be Austin Downing. The Busted Loose Racing Dragster, Phil Dion in from AZ, and Marco Paravolaris. Marco, 462. Austin, 467. Austin Downey 004 red. Marco 012 green. Marco 4642 152 to the next round. The pair of Alaris. Team car is Kelly Shear, Bobby Dye. Specialty Fasteners, Team Machine, Bobby 462 three-way Chevrolet lane. And Kelly Shear, Washington 478 Kelly Michelob Ultra lane. Red light start Kelly by 11th thou. Bobby Dye 016. Bobby Dye dead on 5. And a stunner. Kelly goes 011 red, dead 5. Race Kid Eric Truby. Wow. Eric Truby from Azir Enterprises and Joe Gieslich 490. Eric right side. Race Kid, three-way Chevrolet lane. The Assassin at 470. Double O1 red Race Kid. 009 Truby. 493-1 on that 490 dialing for the automatic. W is Elliot Franco and Dylan Howe. Elliot Farside three-way Chevrolet lane. Get that head started. 506. Dylan Howe. 450 for the guy who was runner-up in the 25K race yesterday. Head start Elliott, three-way Chevrolet lane. Dylan doing the chase, and Elliott Franco, 004 out in front. Elliott, 5070 on that 506 dialing, 004 for the win for Elliott Franco. Dylan was 24 on the tree, breaks out by 7 thousandths of a second. As Sophie Canberra, Colby Fuller. Colby, 469 in the Foggett Dragster three-way Chevrolet lane. Sophie Canberra for the Canberra Speed Shop. 514 Sophie, Michelob Ultra lane. Pre-staged. Bump it in very carefully. They are clean and they are green. Sophie's out there. Here comes Colby down there top end. Sophie breaks out 5-10-3. Colby dial to 69, 472-6 on that 469 dial in 020 on the tree is Kyle Raposo and David Pohl. David 502 in the Tom Bayer School of Drag Racing car, far side, and Kyle Raposo right here in Bakersfield chasing at 473. Here we go. They're set. Head start far side. And a red light start, Kyle Raposo, 002 RED. How about 5044 on that 502 dialing? David Pohl moving on to the next round is Austin Schoenfeld and Steve Williams. The Foggett Dragster for Steve Williams at 446. Chasing Austin. In from Utah, 488 Austin Schoenfeld. Head start to the front motored car. The big speed boy doing the chasing, and it's all over. 014 on the tree, Austin Schoenfeld. Dead on 8, Austin Schoenfeld. Stevie Williams, 002 RED, and 4477 on the 46 dialing. And it ended with a 002 red. Kaylee McGibbon, Larry Beckner. The Tom Bayer School of Drag Racing team car for Larry at 494. Chasing Kaylee. The White Lane Automotive Lucas Oil Dragster. Kaylee B. right side at 508. Head start, Kaylee. Here comes Larry Beckner down there. Top end, Larry Beckner. 495-1 on that 94 dialing. 042 for the win. Kaylee, 5098 on that 508 dialing. Out at 053. Reaction time is John Flores, Dylan Hegwood. Oh, a couple of kids. Former junior dragster kids. Here from Formosa Dragster. John Rightside, 473 in the M&M Fuels Dreamweaver. And Dylan Hegwood. Dad Matt and Highline Auto Care. Far side, 548, Dylan. Head start, Dylan. Dylan was 003. John wasn't bad at 14. How about this? Dylan Hegwood, 003, out by 3 for the loss. Man, that's 6 difference. Jonathan was 14, goes 70 with a 9 on that 73 dial. And Jonathan coming back is continuing on with this round of Super Pro Dragster. And Jay Kaysen will slide in here and tell you about it.
Well, thank you, Mike. I do appreciate it. Got an opportunity to enjoy a little bit of lunch there, and I'm curious. I swung on down to the dog pound and got myself a very tasty treat. Chopped up a serious hamburger into practically a hamburger salad. James Warden, he's driving the dragster. Wait, they're all driving dragsters out here now. 463, the dial-in the three-way Chevrolet lane. Jason Rosenbaum, that's the yellow and black dragster that you see over here in the Michelob Ultra lane. 474, the dial-in for him, so he gets to leave just a split second, a very teeny split second, in front of James Warden. Attention to the pits. Pro. This is your call. Double entries, lanes 1 and 2. Single entries, 3 and 4. Jason Rosenbaum puts it up red, goes 475 with a 1 on a 474. Nice 022 light for James Warden. He goes under by just a smidge, technical term, and it goes 150 miles an hour, so it's 462 on a 463. But that moves him on to the next round. Next pair coming your way. Mike Collins. He's driving a Sarmento. He's out of Gilroy. Lots of garlic in Gilroy. No doubt. I drove through there just the other day. David Muir out of Sheridan, driving the blue dragster, dialed in at a 472. 478 for Mike Collins. 0.06 of a second separate him here on the tree so far. The real trick to this game, Mike, pay attention, anyway, is cutting a really good light. And guess what? One of these guys cut a really good light, and the other guy cut a really, really, really better light. 004 off the tree for Mike Myers, good enough for the win as he goes a 72 with a 2 after 004 for a 6th thou pack. Mike Collins off the tree with an 018. Unfortunately, runs dead on also, but he is not going to get there. 01 stripe at the other end. Gave up 100th on the tree and ended up 100 at the other end. Everybody good and green and golden, except for one problem. The guy in the other lane was more golden. Dean Bush out of Las Vegas. He's got the dragster that you see over in Three-Way Chevrolet. 478, the dial. He gets to go first. Tyler Myra. Tyler all the way down from Sandy, Utah. Remember what I said? Well, actually, both these guys are traveling, but Sandy, Utah, obviously farther away than Las Vegas because about 5 hours into your trip, you drive through Las Vegas on your way here. Those guys that drive a long way, watch out for them because the fact of the matter is they didn't come here to just hand the money out. Trust me, they came here to fight you for it. Taking her time staging up. Wow, I like those lights. I'd like either one of them, but I like the one that Dean Bush put up better. 002 runs a 479 with an 8 on a 478. That's good for the win. 474 with a 4 on a 72 for Tyler. He went 017 on the tree. Not bad at all. Unfortunately, not enough for the win. That 479 with an 8 on the 478 is good for the win for Dean Bush. 139 miles an hour, as he may have even got a chance to tip the brake just a touch. Takes a 200 stripe and puts it into the next round. Mark Miachero, 495, the dial. Hey, listen up, dragsters. If you're supposed to be running, you should be in the lanes. Neil Persimmon out of Las Vegas. Quarter Pro Shifters, the sponsor on that machine. The Quarter Pro Shifter sponsored Pressimone Dragster. 482, the sponsor. 8 thou separated him on this end. Mark Miachero goes 496 with a 3 on a 495. Good for the win. He started that out with 018 light, excuse me. Neil goes 026 off the tree, runs an 85 with a 3 on an 82. As gave up a little bit on the tree and a little bit more down track, and Mark Miachero moves on to the next round. Val Torres Jr. That's the dragster with the orange and flames and ghost flames and all kinds of flames. 472 the dial for Val's machine. Robert Butler, Citrus Heights, California is his home. Dragster dialed in at 476. These lights, identical. 008's a pair. 477 with a 0 on a 476 is good for the win. 474 with a 7 on the 72. 01 stripe down at the other end, and Mr. Butler moves on to the next round. Here's Mark Kidd. Mark Kidd against Steve Hendricks. 479 to dial in on the Hendricks machine. Mark Kidd bringing that dragster up there. And in case you were wondering, if you woke up today on this drag strip, open your eyes and say, guess what? Thank Mark Kidd. It's Kidd Performance Friday. Mark Kidd 470 to dial in. So he's going to give a 0.09 of a second head start over to Mr. Hendricks. Win light comes up Steve Hendricks. He goes 0-1-0 on a tree and then runs an 81 with a 5 and takes a 1 thou stripe down at the other end. 470 with an 8 on a 470 dial for Mark Kidd. And unfortunately, Mark Kidd went 0-2-8 on the tree, which was nice, but not enough. Ryan Mangus. Ryan 476, that red and silver dragster that you see here in the Michelob Ultra Lane. Bailey Neighbor. Bailey 463, the dial in on the Mira Loma, California driver's car. Staging them up ever so gentle-like. Here we go. Everybody's in. Tree comes down. Oh, man. Bailey goes red. Ryan, 76 with a 4 on a 76 after an 0-2-9. Bailey goes red by 1/100th of a second, then runs a 62 with a 3 on a 63. And Ryan moves on to the next round, as this is actually what they refer to as eliminations continue. Here's Dave Mazier. Dave Mazier driving the lawn dart out of Escondido. 475 the dial. He's got Greg Hicks. 487 the dial in, so Greg's going to leave 1300ths of a second in front of Dave Mazier. The 01 undercover chassis car, 565 cubic inches, giving up about 40 over to Greg Hicks, as he's saying he's got 605. That is a big old motor right there. Two excellent lights at the other end. It's Dave Mazier, 476 with a 3 on a 475 after a 006 light. Good for the win. 012 light for Greg Hicks. He goes under by 7 thousandths of a second as he runs a 86 with a 3 on his 87, giving the win over to Dave Mazier. Good pair up right here. Gabe Torres, 462 the dial in. Daryl Wirtz, 457 the dial in. One of the quicker cars on the grounds right here. Coming down from Meridian, Idaho. Red light. Gabe Torres goes red by 6 thou. Daryl, 56 with a 0 on a 57. His 05 light, nothing to brag about, but guess what? I like the wind light thing that comes lit up. He likes that a lot. Moves on to the next round. Jason Pad out of Chestermere, Alberta. 457, speaking of awfully fast cars. This is fast cars a pair. Mark Barnhart on the other side, 460. So New Mexico versus Canada. You know, we probably, when we played the U.S. national anthem, maybe we should have played the Canadian national anthem. You know, the O Canada, that's kind of a good song.